the first topic is from Study Boy. Study Boy, kick it away, brother.
Primero, homie. I'm
You're
first.
first, brother.
Like that. Okay, let's talk about skinny jeans.
Órale, Joe.
Stand up. Let's see what you got on, dog. What do you got on?
I got sweats on, homie. Baggy.
Yeah. See.
Anyways, I want to talk about incarceration. Does it help? I don't even know how long prisons have been around. I just know that it hasn't changed. It hasn't fixed anything. It hasn't made anything better. We kids start going to juvenile hall. They come out worse. Why? Even worse. Then they go to the county, the prison, and it is continuing to get worse. It hasn't fixed anything, and I don't understand why we have all these politicians that to fix everything, apparently, and they're not taking the time to fix these prisons. Me personally, I think if somebody has to get locked up, I don't think it should be for so many years, treat them like an animal, because it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make anything. I know I came out worse than when I went in. And I think the sentences should be less and maybe move them to a different part of the state where they get no visits, no kind of funds to do anything there. There's more militarized and smaller groups so that it does make a difference in somebody's life. Because right here, when California, you get busted in California, majority of the time you're getting your visits, you're getting your money. It's just a cakewalk, and there's no rehabilitation in it. And I think it's about the time that the prison changes, because what we've been doing all these years hasn't made anything better. My opinion.
I agree. My opinion on that is that we need to start at the root of the problem, and that's getting these kids when they're younger, from making those decisions, because we all know right here that when you start off gang banging or whatever you're doing, right? It's a game. It's fun. It's exciting. You're out there, wreaking havoc, you know what I mean? But you're doing it because you're with the homeboys and you're having a blast, you're laughing, whatever. You get locked up, you get put into juvenile hall or YA or whatever, and it's just a training camp, you know what I mean? And these kids are going in there, but they're like, okay, I'm gonna get out, and when I get out, I'm gonna have more street cred and I'm gonna be more cooler, and the hyenas are gonna want me because I was locked up, and the vatos are gonna respect me because I did my time. And and then when they get out, they come out more puffed up, and then they got to perform even more. So they can't just come out and be like, okay, I'm cool. No, they got to go pick up a cohete and they got to go blast somebody to get to the next level. And then after that happens, and they get locked up, they go to the county, and then they come out, then they got to perform even more. Then they got to start selling on the corner, and then they got to show people like you got to show me respect. I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna blast you. You don't pay me those $20 you owe me, and then then it takes then they go to prison. And then when they get in there in prison, then they got to show the homies like, I'm down. I'm going to put in work. I'm going to do what I got to do, to keep my rep going. And then the mentality, they just never grow up. They always think about the hood, the neighborhood, and they think everything on the outside is still the same. While when they're in there and they're doing their 10, their 15, their 20 years, and they come out, then they realize like, man, everything's changed. It's not the same. You know what I mean? It's the streets are different people. It's different, way of the way the guys are running the streets, the way everything's just totally different, but their mentality still has that mentality of when they left the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And so how do you change somebody that's been in the system for that many years to say, hey, everybody that you hanged out with, they all grew up. Either they're dead, they're tecatos, or they grew up and grew out and they're out there living life. They have a wife and kids, whatever. They're doing the thing like society wants them to do. But you're the only one that stayed trapped mentally in the barrio, you know what I mean? And so to get from point A to point B, was what I'm saying, how do you change that? Is you got to start from when they're young, when the kids are young, and mold them and say, hey, you know what, this isn't the right way. This is the right way. These are the right things to do, you know what I mean? And stuff like that's where I feel you start the change.
Joe, I agree with you completely on that. But, if somebody is already in the game, somebody is already mixed into it, you're right. You got to start at the root of the problem, right? With basically everything. But somebody that's already in the game, does incarceration work? Look, I still make spreads, homie. Get my salt out, the chips, the mustard, the mayonnaise, the meat, all that stuff, right? All these different ingredients to make a nice, good spread, man. When somebody gets locked up, is it gonna work for the person to change? Life isn't just one cut, yes or no. Okay. A lot of ingredients, just like the spread, a lot of ingredients go in. Incarcerating somebody can be one of those ingredients. Now, I agree with you, Sonny Boy. I think they're handing out way too many years, man, just way too many years. Can it help? It can be an ingredient to helping a person that's really a menace to society. I don't agree with locking everybody up, throwing away the key for many, many, many years, homie. People still think of, rehabilitation, but if incarcerating someone is the one and only thing that we're going to do as a solution, it's not going to be it. It's going to take more than that. If somebody's really running around the streets, being a danger to somebody, I get it. Hey, homie, we got to get you off the streets right now. Okay, you're a danger to society. We got to lock you up. But if that is the only thing, and saying, that's it, that's how we're going to fix that person, lock them up and then let them out many years later, it ain't going to work. So it can be part of a solution, but we need so many other things. And like you said, Joe, I mean, you got to start at the root of it. Okay. It all starts at the root. How is the person growing up? And some people need more help than others, man, depending on how they grew up, what their experiences were in life. So it can't just be a yes or a no. In life, there's so many different moving parts, man. And incarceration, it cannot just be the one and only thing to help somebody out.
Yeah. Then as one more thing, the system doesn't care. Man, you guys can chew me up for this one, but the system doesn't care about any of us. I mean, they prefer for us to be locked up. That's a $1 billion like company right there. They make so much money off inmates and everything. It's all money, man. It's like a company, a corporation. And the more people that are locked up, the more money is flowing for those people. You know what I mean? So do they want us rehab? Do they want us to stay out? Do they want us to be good and not be getting locked up? No, child, that's why they don't offer stuff in the system for guys to, I mean, the stuff they do offer is very small. It's very small, and it's not enough for everybody, to change their lives or get something where they get out and they can change their lives, like work programs and stuff like that. It's very little, and they rather have you locked up. They rather have you reoffend, and get back in there because it's more money for them.
Well,
Yeah.
the vocation, like they have vocation classes in prison. For not for all prisons, but a good chunk of them now, especially nowadays. And they set you up for these programs, but these programs are not accredited for college. These programs, a lot of them, you can't even get a job doing that type of thing. Like me, they had me in vocational drafting, and came out with I was tutoring other kids, not other kids, but other homies, and I was up on my game. But you come out and ain't nobody want to hire you with that kind of job. You know what I mean? Not with that background. I went a computer networking program. Same thing. They didn't want to hire me. I didn't get busted for no computer crimes, but they don't want to hire you. And the system, like let's say since the 30s. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So 1930s, the prisons are pretty much the same they were back in the days. Nothing's changed. It's like sticking a square peg in a round hole. It's just not gonna work. And we have all these politicians talking about they want to rehabilitate and change things, but yet they're just doing the same thing. Just throw them in, lock them up. And you can't throw a human being in a cage and expect them to come out normal, especially for all those years that they're handing out. There was a kid I was busted with, first offense, 19 years. 19 years. And yeah, he took a chain from somebody. That's what he did. He snatched a chain from somebody. But the fact that he touched them, they gave him strong arm robbery. 19 years. And this was just a kid, you know. He's not going to come out normal. He's not going to come out rehabilitated. He's going to come out worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, then on my view is definitely, let me go first, CDCR now, right?
Right.
California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. There's not much rehabilitation, man, but you know, what I hear, it's gotten worse. Now I haven't been in there since 94, you know? So that was my last 94, 95, I think. So let me start first with the personal responsibility part. See, have you guys ever seen Hard Intentions, Smiley? You guys ever seen that show?
It's Smiley, yeah.
Okay, you know, Joe, you know Rolo. Me and Rolo were cellmates. Smiley was our next door neighbor. When I was in Tracy, I was, you know, I was one of the fellas. I was doing my dirt and, you know, doing all the stuff that you do in there, all the shady stuff, right? Smiley next door, he was taking advantage of the stuff. He was making the cops, he would talk to the cops, not in a friendly way, but he would make them part friendly to him. You know, he would use the system to get ahead. He was learning a trade. You see, two different philosophies, bro. Mine, I was just keeping away from the cops, trying to get drugs, do this, do that, you know, pass knife, do whatever I had to do. This guy next door was trying to get his education, do all that stuff, getting trades, and you know, we're both out now. We're both doing good, but you can see how part of it falls on us to take advantage of those programs. But you know, man, there's not a lot of incentive when you get in there. You go to classification. Hey, what do you want to do? You got your GED? Okay, go. You're kind of like just let on your own, you know. So it's not built, Sonny. I believe it's not built to work. You know, they have these things they throw up, but in general, no. But I think somebody, as we get older, Joe, we're older. We're moving away from, you know, we moved away from the gang stuff. Now we're parents, we're family men. You know, we changed. But I think in the system, as you get older, hopefully something kicks in that you say, you know what, that nerd over there who's an inmate, he's doing something, he's carrying books down the hall. I got to do something. You know, I got to do something. You know, hopefully, you know. I don't know, but I think generally it doesn't work and it's made. I think they're just put up there as a prop, but I don't know. I could be wrong, man. What do you guys?
Right. I think you're absolutely right. And I feel like I said, I think it's a money-making machine. And when it's a money-making machine, you know, they don't want us to succeed. They don't want us to stay out. They want us to come back to be the revolving door, returning customers.
You know, Paul, like how you were saying, man, taking responsibility, right? There's a lot that goes on with this, man, even out here. Okay. The ones that keep going back in and out, you know, the ones that get 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, those are the ones that usually keep going in and out. The ones that get 10, 15 plus years, usually when they get out, at least to my experience, people that I know, they stay out. But the thing is, out here, let's be honest, man, going to prison, getting locked up, it's kind of a badge of honor. It's kind of looked at as cool. You know, nobody really says it, but if we really want to get real with it and talk about it, let's be honest, homie. You know, youngsters, they you know, somebody gets out of prison, it's like, oh man, that's someone that you know, kind of to look up to. Not somebody that's doing good in their life, not somebody that, you know, is building a business or owns their own little restaurant, you know, at the corner. That's not really who they look up to. Somebody that spent time in prison, they come out and it's a little badge of honor, man. It's and the kids look up to it. So now when they grow up, it's something that's cool. So in our communities, we have it as a badge of honor. We never talk about that. But in reality, homie, I mean, that it is looked at as, at least to the youngsters, as all right, it's cool, man, and it's acceptable.
Yeah, you get out and you're ghetto fabulous. You're a little hood celebrity, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but with doing a lot of time, it really doesn't matter what those kids think if you're the one that's doing the time, because when you come
Mhm.
out, you come out screwed up. There's no way around it. That system will mess with your head, and you got to do things in there sometimes that go against what you are or who you are or what you feel is right and wrong. But that's the problem is these guys get out from doing a gang of time because that's what they're doing. They're just breaking everybody off for any little thing, and they come out screwed up. Yeah, I know how everybody looks at them, how they perceive them. I know when they come out where you were programmed not to show any weakness, that anything bugs us. But then later on down the years, we have to deal with it. You know what I mean? That's the
Mhm.
problem with the prison system, as far as I can see.
Can I ask before we close on this subject? Can I ask all three of you? All three of you have been to jail in some form.
Mhm.
My wife today still suffers from my lifestyle. Then you know what I mean. There's still little baggage that comes up here and there, even though it's down. It still comes up. And you try like, man. What I'm saying is there's PTSD. Are many
Yeah.
of us who've been to jail, been to the joint, are we damaged in a way? Do we got to work extra hard to make relationships work and all that? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I go through the same thing with my wife, and definitely damaged. My wife is just as damaged as I am from the same experience, just in different. Her being waiting for me and me being busted. So yeah, it does damage you.
Yeah. It definitely, any life experiences, changes you. Living a certain life, losing homies, things like that, man, makes you callous to just different situations. Um, my kids have seen me, man, and there was times where, I look back and I'm like, damn, man, I feel bad for them seeing dad, go through, battling a certain demon inside of me. And I'm sure it's affected them. I know it's affected them, but I'm glad I have a great relationship with them today. I have a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old. And there was a point not too long ago that my oldest son wanted nothing to do with me, man. And he was tired of seeing dad be a complete fool and losing respect for me. But yes, it's certain demons that go inside of you that you're battling with and trying to shake them off. And it's things like that just locking somebody up. That's not going to help you beat that.
Joe?
Yeah, I agree 100%. There PTSD is definitely, they say like we're hey man, you're veterano, you're OG veterano. But I say, yeah, I'm a veterano with no benefits, like the ones from the military, the veterans from
Right.
there. We don't have benefits. We don't get to go see the psych. We're not covered by nothing. But it definitely I know I suffer from PTSD from things that I've been through, seen, and all that back in the day. And but you know what? I feel like I'm a stronger person for the things that I did go through and the things that I did see. I feel like I'm a stronger person. I felt like I was able to take care of my family better because of that. You know what I mean? Because of the knowledge and the stuff that I would always be able to watch out for. And but some of the things are still crazy though, like having to sit with my back against the wall and always having to watch out who's coming in and out of where we're at,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And my wife says, calm down, and I'm like, how do you take that away? You know what I mean? You have so many years, like most of your life, you lived a certain way. And how do you change? I don't think I kind of feel like it's not possible, but
Yeah.
and about changing and about starting from the beginning, I guess like when I got away from the neighborhood, when I got married, it's almost been 30 years. I had to change myself. You know what I mean? I had to like make that step to say I'm not going to be walking in this direction no more. I'm going to go in this direction, and just had to change myself. I kind of like felt like I was like an infant again when I left the neighborhood. I was learning everything new. Everything was like I opened my eyes to the world, you know. And so yeah, I feel like we're a certain person when we're in that life, but when we get out, you know, it's I see everything through new eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're a good example in your marriage and stuff, brother. You know, and you know, dude, just like for 68 years old, bro, you look really young, brother.
Thank you,
Wow.
thank
Come
you.
on.
Yeah, if I can just get out of this wheelchair. No, I'm just kidding.
And those skinny jeans.
Hey guys, in closing, let's answer one last sentence or two on Sonny's question. Does incarceration work? Starting with you, Sonny.
No, I don't think it does. I think it just makes things worse. I like Cholo Trugger was saying that those youngsters get a perception of something that's not reality, because when you're in there, it's nothing like what you were expected it to be. So yeah, I don't think it. I think things need to change.
Joe.
Yeah, I think incarceration it only works like to lock up chomos, you know what I mean, and people like that, you know, keep them behind bars forever. You know what I mean, pedophile or stuff like that. But as far as like just regular guys that are down the wrong road, I don't think it works, man. I really don't. I think like, man, you know, we need God. We need God in the prisons. We need God in the jails. We need God in the juvenile system. We need God. We need people to focus more on God than anything else, man. And that's my personal opinion on it, because without Him, we're all lost, man. And you can look at it by the people that are locked up. So I don't think the being locked up is the solution, but I think God would be the solution. And I think people being in there, evangelists going in there and talking to people would be a good step in the right direction. And then the system changing the way they do things and offering real help, real job placement when they get out. You know what I mean? Real job training, real classes on like drug addiction, you know, and stuff like that. I think they need real classes that are really going to help and help change people's lives for the better, not these Mickey Mouse stuff that they have out there, you know, and not because of the dollar, because, you know, that's another thing. They'll have classes and offer all this stuff to inmates, but there's always a back solution. Like somebody's cousin or whatever owns the company that can provide all these services for millions of dollars a year. You know, now I'm talking about real services that care with the heart to go in there and help people to change. You know, that's just my opinion.
Eduardo.
Um, look, if you want to change, the person themselves has to want it. Incarcerating somebody, you know, it's gonna work differently with different people, man. Some is gonna help them more than others, but if that's gonna be the one and only thing, it's not really gonna do too much. Obviously, like I said, man, guys that get just a little bit of time, they keep going back into the system. Some very few, you know, do get a little bit of time and turn it around and stay out. You don't really hear those stories too much. But if it's just going to be incarceration the way it is right now, and that's the only thing that we're focusing on to change somebody, now, I mean, there's got to be more to it. And like Joe said previously, it starts at the root of the problem, man. You got to catch them when they're young, when they're kids.
Cool, man. We thank everybody for watching on behalf of me and my co-host Joe. We just really appreciate you guys all watching. Please follow Sonny at the Streets Ain't Loyal podcast. Follow Big Joe on Instagram. What's the handle, Joe?
Official Big Joe on Instagram.
Official Big Joe. And then Eduardo, Cholo Trucker, and Cholo Boxing. All their links are in the bottom below in the description. Please take a second to hit the thumbs up. It helps us get this video to more people. We appreciate it. Thank you guys. God bless.